Hello everybody, my name is Xuul, and welcome to my guide on modding Fallout 3 using Mod Organizer. Hello and welcome back to the Fallout 3 Mod Organizer tutorial series. In today's episode we're going to be looking at texture mods, as you can probably already tell by some of the footage in the background. Now why are we going to be installing texture mods? Well, put simply, they make the game look a lot better. The textures that shipped with this game are just not very high quality. This is a very old game. By adding nice high quality textures to the game, we make everything look better, it makes things more immersive, and it just makes it a lot more enjoyable. We'll be turning the world from a plain kind of blank area to something that looks a little bit more like this. It looks very cinematic and it really draws you into the universe more. One of my favorite things about Fallout 3 is just how amazingly detailed and dark and cinematic the entire world is, more so compared to Fallout New Vegas, which has a better story and things like that, but Fallout 3 really shines from the atmosphere of the world that it has. You really feel like you're in these ruins of DC, and you can see the death and destruction all around you. By adding better textures onto everything and making it look better, we change the world from something that looks like a video game to something that looks a little bit more real, a little bit more fantastic. And that's really all there is to do it. These are all very optional things for you to install, and of course, it depends on the power of your computer and other things like that. So this video is going to have a lot more recommendations than it is going to have me telling you this is the mod you need to install, and that's pretty much the kind of thing you should be expecting from now on, as most of your skills have been developed at this point. But without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin installing our texture mods, we need to make sure that automatic archive and validation is activated and working properly. To do this, click on the Manage Profiles button here at the top and ensure that you checked off automatic archive and validation. We're also going to want to confirm that it's working properly by heading to the Archives tab and checking to see if fallout-invalidation.bsa is at the top and that it's grayed out. Now if this isn't exactly how your screen looks, that's okay, but you need to have this file at the top. If it's not at the top, you can click anywhere on the screen to be taken to my other video where I covered this earlier on in this series. When installing a texture mod, one of the first things you're going to need to consider is how it's going to affect your performance. If you get poor performance when playing this game, then you may want to use a lower end texture pack or not use one at all. If you have a high-end computer, you can go pretty much to the sky's limit. You can use a lot more higher resolution texture packs. So basically, the lesson behind this video is it's a balancing act, and you're going to have to try things out and see how they affect your game. Now for this video, we're going to be first using ncms texture pack, and we're going to be using it as a base. Why I'm going to be calling it as a base is we're going to be installing it first. Since this texture mod covers so many different parts of the game, we're going to be installing our other texture mods on top of this one, and using this as kind of our catch-all for anything else that we don't get with other texture mods. As you can see here, there is a lot of different files available from NCM. There's a large, light, maximum performance version, and all of these different versions have different size textures and affect your performance in different ways, so you're going to need to select them appropriately. For this video, I'm going to select the large texture pack. Now, whatever pack you choose, the basic installation process is very easy. Just download it with Manager and activate it normally with Mod Organizer. Now, if you're using the large pack, there's actually an update for it, so head over to that section and download the update with the Manager as well. All the other versions, as of the time recording this video, don't need an update. Don't worry about the miscellaneous file because we're not going to be using it. Alright, now we're going to look at a couple of different mods, and I'm going to basically kind of touch on why you would install them or why would you not want to install them, because again, all of these things are optional. So first up, we're going to look at the QHD Terrain Overhaul. This mod improves the textures of the terrain. Now the reason that the terrain in specific should have really nice, good quality textures is because you're going to be looking at them a lot, and honestly the ones in the game are very lackluster and flat. And while there is mods that we can look at later that improve the flora and things like that, just by adding these textures, these nice quality textures into the game, you're going to make the terrain look a ton better. As far as downloading goes, again, there are different versions for this mod. I recommend the HQ version. It's a good balance between performance and looks. There's also an optional file down below here. Again, if you just like the NCM textures, then don't don't even worry about it. Just ignore this mod and move on to something else. It's all optional, like I've said. Another really great texture mod is Fallout 3 High Res. This mod features textures for various different weapons, and these are incredibly detailed textures. One texture that I like in particular is the one for the super mutants. It makes them look absolutely fantastic. I'm going to recommend that you head over to the files section of this mod and go ahead and download the file. In the file section for this mod, there is a different file for each of the different textures, and then under the optional and miscellaneous files are some either higher or lower resolution versions. There is a 1K version of the super mutants if you're on a lower end rig, and there's also a 4K version of Fox if you're a big Fox fan and your computer can handle those incredibly detailed and unique textures for that specific companion. Alright, we're here in my mod organizer at the Downloads tab. As you can see, I downloaded a variety of the different files that we've installed. The first thing that we're going to do is install ncms texture pack for Fallout 3. Since this is our base file, this is what we're going to be installing first, and then allowing everything else to overwrite it. Once the mod has been installed, all you need to do is check it off and activate it. And the same is going to be true for the update. Again, remember to set the data directory appropriately as always, selecting merge when prompted. Once that's done, what you're going to need to do is install your other texture mods. Now, I'm not going to go over this in detail because honestly, at this point, you should really know what you're doing. I'm kind of giving you more recommendations. I'm not holding your hand anymore because I think at this point, you kind of know how to ride this bicycle. Mod Organizer is a great tool and you know how to use it. You're on your way to becoming a master. There's still more for us to touch on, of course. We need to deal with the weather and lighting, and then we need to go into a few more advanced features in Mod Organizer, which is all going to come later. But for now, you're almost in a pretty good state. After the next episode, you will have my recommended base game of which to build a platform to your heart's content. So I'm going to actually end this video right here. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a comment down below. Comments motivate me. They are the fuel upon which I create all of my essence. Sorry, I'm just really hyped. Talos Principle DLC is coming out and I just can't wait to play it. I am super obsessed with that game. Nobody watches to the end of the video anyway, so I can really just talk about it if I want to. Besides, I'm terrible at outros. Nobody expects anything good from me. Watch Quancat, watch Quancat, watch Quancat, watch Quancat. You know, maybe I'll talk backwards for a little bit and say something like, you know, I think at this point you know that I'm terrible at these outros, so let's just cut to your favorite part, which is the outro music, which no one listens to. So it's just gonna be some sort of jazzy, I don't know. You know what, I'm gonna let my girlfriend, she'll pick out of all these tracks and it'll be something really fun. Anyway, I've been Xuul and I hope you have an excellent day. Goodbye!
I can't help but notice you coming down the street, smiling so dearly at everyone you meet. And I can't help but notice you throwing me a glance, a wink telling me there's a chance. I've just got